By the way, Fal, do you know anything about the Cuban Missile Crisis?
The Cuban Missile Crisis, or October Crisis of 1962, was a standoff between the United States and the Soviet Union, where both sides flexed their missile power. The event lasted from October 16 in 1962 to November 20 in 1962. When the US deployed nuclear-capable missiles in Italy and Turkey, it is countered by the Soviet Union placement of similar weapons in Cuba.
Wow, really?
It is. In his address, President John F. Kennedy revealed his decision to impose a naval blockade around Cuba and declared that the US were prepared to use whatever military force was necessary to neutralize the threat to its nation. Following the spread, widespread fear grew that the world was on the brink of nuclear war.
I think it happened after Fidel Castro seized power in Cuba. Cuba's military and economy were very dependent on the US, whereas this happened when the US and the Soviet were involved in the Cold War.
Yeah, that is the point. Tension between the two superpowers increased when the US spied planes across the Cuban sky on October 14, 1962, and learned that ballistic missile was being assembled, leading President Kennedy and state officials to continue discussing the existence of nuclear weapons only 90 miles from the US coast. For the Soviet, the installation of missiles in Cuba was a way to level the playing field with the US. The Soviets had long been uncomfortable with the US nuclear weapons scattered throughout the Western Europe and Turkey. The Soviets also made this maneuver in response to the 1961 US Bay of Pigs invasion in Cuba.
The Cuban Missile Crisis in October 1962 was one of the most thrilling moments of the Cold War. On October 14, the United States took pictures of ballistic missiles being built in Cuba. President John F. Kennedy was told about the missiles on October 16. He met with his crisis committee to talk about what to do next. On October 22, Kennedy told the American people that the Soviet missiles were being built in Cuba. He put a blockade around Cuba to stop more weapons from being sent there. The blockade started on October 23. Soviet ships started coming close to Cuba, which made things worse between the two countries. Tensions rose when Nikita Khrushchev, the Soviet leader, sent Kennedy a letter on October 26, proposing a peaceful solution. On October 27, a US plane was shot down by Cuban soldiers. Khrushchev sent another letter saying he would pull back the missiles if the United States did not attack. On October 28, Kennedy and Khrushchev reached an agreement. The Soviet Union would withdraw missiles from Cuba, and the United States would not attack and would withdraw missiles from Turkey. This crisis was resolved, and it showed how important diplomacy is in dealing with international conflicts.
This history really had an amazing story. For real.
Meanwhile, in our universe,